Hey guys, hope you're all doing okay. It's been a while since I've recorded a video like this, so sorry if I'm a bit awkward, but I'm really excited to do this video because I've been wanting to record something like this for a while. So what I wanted to do was share my process of working on a painting from beginning until the end, like everything I do step by step, I guess. So I really hope you guys find it helpful. I also wanted to thank Luisa for sponsoring this video. You guys might remember that I did a video with them about a year ago, and I'll make sure to link that video down in the description as well. But I've actually been wearing the necklace they sent me every day since then, so I'm really glad to be working with them again. So Luisa is a jewelry company, and one of the things I really like about them is their sustainable mission, which if you've been following me for a while, you know is pretty important to me. All of their solid gold is 100% recycled gold, and the same for their sterling silver. It's all recycled, and their diamonds are made in a lab, meaning their background is traceable, so you don't have to worry about how they were acquired. And just like last year, I'll be including the jewelry they sent me in a painting. So we'll be working on a portrait. This portrait to be exact. So first things first is we need to put together a reference. So I'm going to show you how I do that on my computer. For the reference, I'm going to be using Medibang Paint Pro, which is a free program that you can download. I also have a huge reference board up over on Pinterest with all kinds of face types if you ever need help finding somewhere to start. So I'm going to start by finding something that will work for what I have in mind. Since I plan on painting earrings, I want someone facing forward with their ears visible. Once I have a good base, I'll start changing things up a little bit. Couldn't pick between two pictures, so I'm actually going to use the mouth of the second picture and just add that to my base. I also wanted to paint someone with really dark brown eyes because I think they're super pretty and I think they'll look really nice with the gold jewelry. So I'm going to change the eye color. I think it looks really nice with her eye shape as well. And then next for the clothes, I'm a huge fan of painting hoodies if you haven't noticed. So I picked one from my probably too big collection of hoodie references. I went with pink to match her makeup. Then I'm going to quickly edit the hair a little bit. I just used a brush to really quickly draw in some longer hair. And then the very last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add in the jewelry that Luisa sent me. So they sent me 3 things. So I got 2 pairs of earrings and a necklace. They have a lot of like star themed stuff right now, so honestly it was pretty hard to pick which earrings I thought they should send me. Very first I got the Celeste earrings. Those are these guys. So it's a star on one side and a moon on the other, and they're seriously so pretty. And then next I got the Helios, I'm not sure how to say it. It's these tiny little huggy hoops. I have one up here too. And I think they look really nice together with the other earrings. So I've been wearing them both every day since I got them at the beginning of the month. And I think they look really nice with everything I wear. And then lastly, I picked out this necklace, the Bia necklace set, I believe. And I feel like it goes really well with the vibes of the earrings. And I love the design on it. It has a little eye with 2 stars and then some dots, and it is double-sided. I also really like that the chain has these little balls on it. I think it's a really nice texture. And since it's a set, you can wear both necklaces together, or you can wear them separate if you wanted to. I've been wearing them both together and it's great. And Luisa is actually running an exclusive Black Friday sale, so I'll have a link in the description if you would like to check that out. They have a lot of really great stuff, so I definitely recommend giving it a look. Their prices start at $39 and then also range up to higher end pieces, so there really is something for everyone there. Now that I have my reference, I'm going to import it into Procreate on my iPad so I can work on the sketch. I'll start with kind of a thumbnail size because I think it's easier to get the proportions correct that way. Proportions are kind of like my weakness. And then once that's mostly good, I'm going to stretch it out to the size of the canvas so I can clean it up and make it look nicer. In this stage, I'll also make sure to flip my canvas a lot so I can hopefully fix any weirdness. And for this, I'm just using the 6B pencil brush, by the way. Also, as you can see, the eyes are a bit messed up here. I'll make sure to fix that a bit later when I transfer it over onto paper. Also, I don't worry too much about whether my sketch looks exactly like my reference. I'm just gonna go with the flow a little bit while drawing. I think it's pretty interesting to see how I get further and further away from my reference as I work. Since I plan on painting on a watercolor block and not a loose sheet, I need to print the sketch out so I can transfer it. To do that, I'm just going to take a pencil and shade on the back side of my printed sketch, making sure to cover all of the lines. After that, I will flip it over and tape the edges down, making sure it's centered within the lines. I'm using Legion's Stonehenge cold pressed paper. It's 9 inches by 12 inches, so I have a 8 by 10 inch area marked out because that's about how big I want to work. To transfer the sketch, I'm going to go over the whole sketch with a ballpoint pen, pressing firmly, but hopefully not hard enough to make too deep of an indentation on the watercolor paper. Paying extra attention to important areas like the eyes and then also the edges of the face. After that, I'm just going to go over a little bit with a pencil to clean it up a bit, then we'll tape off the edges. I'm just using some super cheap masking tape, which I've already tested on this paper, so I know it'll be okay. And now we're finally ready to paint. I usually jump around a lot while I paint, but I'll do my best to explain my process a bit. I'm going to start with the darker areas, like around the eyes and any darker shadows on the face. Since the reference is wearing a pinkish eyeshadow, I'm going to start building up reds in the eye area and also around the nose. And then cooler areas on the lower face, like the upper lip and under the lower lip, and then on the neck. Same for the cheek and cheekbone area. I'll do a reddish color higher up on the cheek, and then as I get lower down the face, I'm going to switch to a more purpley color. By adding a soft base color on the lips and burnt umber on the eyes. while still continuing to build up the reds under the eyes. From there, it's a lot of going over areas over and over again to really add depth to the colors and add shape. The darker an area needs to be, the more layers it will take. For the background, I'm using a super light purple in a single flat wash. I'm using a brush that holds a lot of water so I can work pretty fast without needing to re-dip the brush. And then I will dry off the brush and use it to gently pick up any extra water so it doesn't pool. This also helps make sure the wash is super even and flat. For the hoodie, I'm using a super light wash of gouache, mainly just because I had this exact color I wanted in gouache but didn't have it in watercolors. After that, I'm going to let everything dry so I don't have to worry about accidentally laying my arm in the paint and ruining my washes. Then I'm going to continue working on the shadows around the eyes and cleaning up some of my lines, as well as adding another layer to the darkest areas, like the irises, the nose holes, and the corners of the lips. Remembering to add at least a slight shadow to the apple of her cheeks to make her face look softer and blending out the shadows really well. Next, I'm going to add a super light wash of a orangey yellow over all of the skin except for where the bright white highlight areas will be, like on the nose, the corner of the eyes, right above the corner of the eyebrows, the edge of the lips, and a little circle on the chin. And then blend those edges so it's not super sharp. Then I'll go back to the eyes again and continue building shadows on the cheeks and the forehead. It really is just a ton of super light washes to build up the shapes. Where you put the shadows and how dark determines the shape. If you build up slower, it's a lot easier to fix and avoid mistakes, especially with watercolors. And before I finish the face, I'm going to start laying down the first layers of the hair. Since I know it's going to be dark, I want to do it before finishing the face because the darkness of the hair will probably wash out the face a bit. And I don't want to have to go over a bunch of stuff. It's easier to judge the contrast this way. While that first layer dries, I can start working on some of the last layers of the face. My camera missed this part, but I also did another full face wash minus the highlights, but using burnt sienna this time. before outlining the hoodie with red and the face with a purplish color. Now that I'm starting to get more color down on the face, I feel like the highlights are really starting to get a lot more noticeable. I'm going to leave the hoodie pretty flat, so I'm not really blending out the layers of the shadows. There I'm pretty much going to brush them on and let them dry and bleed however they want. Then I'm going to start cleaning up the eyebrows and the lines around the eyes again, and then my favorite part, freckles. I feel like they really bring a face together and are another way to show the shape of the face. When placing them on the nose, try to follow how you picture the nose bridge to be. So for hers, it's pretty high, so the freckles are going to be in kind of a triangle shape over the nose. I also like to add more on the high cheekbone area to help them look like they're wrapped around the face more, and the few on the forehead and the neck and the chin just to make it look more natural. After those dry, I'll go back in later to add more and darken up a few. Next, I'm using a little bit of white gouache to lighten up some of the highlights and other areas I might have accidentally covered up. After that, I'll go in with that second layer of burnt umber on the hair and then add those darker freckles using the same color. I don't normally use colored pencils on my paintings, but my small brushes are starting to get kind of old, so I use colored pencils to kind of pretty up the brows and add a few flyaways to the hair, also a few eyelashes. If you guys have any small brushes you really like, I'd love to hear about them. I really need to get myself some new brushes. And now for the super fun part, starting the jewelry. I started out with a wash of a light orange watercolor, but I'm going to paint over it with gouache, so that's not really important. I just wanted some kind of base to work with. Honestly, a yellow probably would have worked better. But first I want to peel off the tape because I literally couldn't wait. And then I need to get my gouache palette ready. I like to let the water soak in for at least 5 minutes before painting. For the necklace, I did the shadows first, and then a kind of base color over the rest of the necklace, and then highlights. And then lastly, I went in with the darkest shadows and a bit of blending to make sure it looks super shiny. Same for the chains, shadows, highlights, and then darkest shadows on like the balls. Next I work on the earrings. For those I started with the highlights and then added the shadows and finally a bit of gold around the star. Then the tiny huggies, these were pretty hard to paint. mainly just because of how like dainty they are. So I tried to focus on the main details there. And then I did the same for the other side, only this one has the little moon instead of the star. And then I also put the earrings over the end of a pencil so I could refer to them more easily without having to hold them in my hand. They're literally so pretty. I love them so much. Lastly, I just need to remove the page from the block and then cut off the extra paper on the edge. And she's finished. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done a long one like this in a while. Also, don't forget to check out that link in my description for Ana Luisa's Black Friday sale. They have a lot of really great stuff and I'm super grateful to be working with them again. Hopefully I will see you guys soon for another video. Bye.